Over the last few years, natural stone has become incredibly popular for patios and driveways, and if you look around at this patio you can understand why. When it's clean it looks stunning, but unfortunately people very quickly find that unless it's regularly maintained it can start to look drab, dirty, covered in algae and sometimes intense black spot as well. Now this is caused by the fact that the sandstone, by its very nature, and is very porous. Water seeps into the voids in the stone and basically sits there, and that's what encourages the dirt, the algae to establish themselves on the surface. I use the word dirt, it looks like that, but in fact, as I say, it's algae and lichens that are just living on the dampness of the stone. So what can we do to prevent this? Well, you've got various options. A good quality sealing product will help not eliminate, nothing can really eliminate the maintenance, but greatly reduce it and make it far easier, and along the way also protect the stone. So the principle is with this kind of sealer here that it will not only seal the surface of the stone, but it will also soak in as well into the porous voids and seal those from within. Now, not only does that make the sealer itself far more effective because it's inside the stone, not just on the surface, but also it means that the lifespan is far greater. If you can imagine normal wear and tear, whether it be foot traffic or vehicular traffic, can quickly start to reduce the lifespan of the sealer, but when it's inside the stone then that is greatly improved. So if we look at an example here, you can see the area unsealed quickly changes colour as the water penetrates, whereas on the other two sides it just runs off, basically beads and runs off the surface. The sealer itself is available in 3 finishes. On this side it's been treated with a colour enhancer, in the centre obviously the dry finish, and to this side with the ultimate enhancer, which basically just brings more depth of colour, maybe even a slight wet look type finish. The thing to remember when you're looking to order up your sealer and work out the ratios, there's a lot of difference between this type, a very porous stone, and then a very dense type limestone. If I actually hold the two, there's not a great deal of difference in the weight. Now, where this is relevant is in the amount of sealer you use to effectively cover the surface. On this kind of stone, I could be using the product at a ratio of maybe 3-4 square meters per litre, but on this limestone or a slate type surface, that could easily be up to 8-10, maybe even more square meters per litre. So just bear that in mind when you're looking to order up and apply your products. Now, just a quick reference here to the limestone. Many people see a very attractive black looking limestone in brochures and then are a little bit disappointed when it turns out to be a kind of quite an insipid, maybe even a grubby type of grey, which is very difficult to look any different. But you can just see the difference there with the ultimate enhancer product. Really brings body and really makes the surface look incredibly stunning. So, you know, well worth the investment there. Now if we just look to the right here, where the table basically keeps the area drier, you can see it looks a lot cleaner, a lot better. Areas here constantly exposed to the elements, you can see where this is not dirt, this is black lichens and algae that really are feeding off the porous nature of the stone and becoming ingrained into it. So what we are looking to do is get rid of the algae, protect the surface, and then really leave future maintenance, 1, a lot less frequent, and 2, a lot easier. So as we all know, the better your preparation with any kind of DIY project, the better the end result. The product I have here, the Patio Clean Extreme, basically a pre-treatment of that is going to achieve several things. Firstly, we want to get rid of the black spot, which is very stubborn. Secondly, obviously clean the surface, but what we don't want to do is pressure wash too aggressively, possibly one, damaging the pointing, and two, making the sandstone and the natural stone even more porous. So on this occasion, a pre-treatment of the product is not only going to save us a lot of time, it's also going to be a lot more efficient, and thirdly, as I say, it reduces the risk of any damage to the surface, to the pointing or the stone itself. So when we're applying our pre-treatment product, whether it be our Patio Clean Extreme or any other product, it's important to make sure you're wearing some kind of safety wear. This product can be applied by a watering can or a sprayer. I'm going to apply by a sprayer, so it's also important that I put some goggles on, because you never know when a hose could burst or something could happen. The last thing you want is this kind of product anywhere near your face or your eyes. So I'm going to demonstrate on a small area here, just so you get a feel for how efficient the product is. And as I say, what you need to avoid is basically pressure washing these surfaces too aggressively. Now, by applying any of the sealers, you're going to be not only reducing maintenance of the stone, but also you are protecting the pointing, increasing the lifespan there, and also all the sealers are UV resistant, so it's going to stop you losing any further colour from the stone itself. But also, don't ever let anyone tell you or think that just by applying a sealer that will totally eliminate your maintenance. Unfortunately, that's just not possible in our kind of climate. What the sealer will do, as I say, it protects the stone, but it will massively reduce the amount of maintenance required. And also, when that maintenance is required, it will be far easier, far simpler, and should generally avoid the use of an intense pressure washer that was required to get this surface clean in the first place. Really, it's worth looking forward, it's worth thinking that maybe twice a year, a gentle hose down, or maybe just a very diluted application of some kind of patio cleaning product that can just be left on the surface will stop the algae and lichens and basically that muck establishing itself on the surface. So keeps that maintenance very simple and far less frequent. Okay, so we're just about ready to go with sealing our natural stone patio here. Method of application, we can use a normal sort of roller kit or pretty much a standard sort of garden sprayer. No need for anything elaborate. There's no sort of aggressive chemicals within the sealer itself, but a few little do's and don'ts. Again, when we're applying the product, we're looking to apply one coat to saturation. And remember, with this being a very porous kind of stone, that could be around sort of 4 square meters per litre. With the far denser limestone, that could be as much as sort of 10, 12 square meters per litre. It is what it is, dependent on the porosity of the surface. So we're going to apply one coat to saturation, and then within kind of 15-20 minutes, today's a pretty warm day, what we're looking to do is apply a lighter second coat. As soon as it's kind of semi-touch dry, we want to apply that lighter second coat. The reason for that is because the sealer is going to soak into the stone. What we don't want is it to continue to soak in on the first coat and leave nothing on the surface. So we'll apply the light second coat. And then the final thing is, when we're finished, what we're looking to do is maybe see the product pooling on the surface for a little while, but before we close our back door or before we leave site, we just want to make sure that all the sealer has penetrated in. It starts off as quite a milky white substance. What we don't want is to leave the property and for there to be white residue still sitting in the joints. Normally I would suggest if it's still in place, if there's any residue on the surface after 45 minutes, something like that, even get a dry roller, sponge, anything, just make sure you wipe it clean, because basically if it's not penetrated in after that period of time, it's telling you it's got nowhere to go, and if you don't remove it, it will just end up as a white residue on the surface and basically spoil the overall finish. So we'll get started with sealing the patio now and see how we get on. Okay, so we finished sealing about an hour ago now after using the ultra enhanced sealer, and I just wandered around. There was just a few areas where there's little white spots where the product had congealed down, hadn't quite penetrated into the substrate, and I just dabbed them and removed that as a final treatment just to take away any last remnants of the sealer. Now we'll just take a look at the rough overall measurements here. So we've got 10 metres to here. If I take a midpoint, 5 metres here, so 50 metres for the main section. Got another 20 roughly there, 70, another 20 down the side, 90, and another 25 around the corner there. So as a rough measurement there, I would say we've got in the region of 105, 110 square metres. And in total we used just over 20 litres of product. So our coverage on this particular surface was just over sort of 5 square metres per litre, and you can see we've had an excellent result. So our surface is now protected, it's sealed, it's looking good, and certainly now what it's going to be easy to do is keep that algae, that black spot, that muck at bay, but what we can't do is not take it absolutely for granted. So just a couple of times a year, maybe before the winter and in the spring, just rinse the patio down. No need to pressure wash, and maybe use one of the products such as the Patio Revive that we supply, which you can literally just dilute down, put on with a watering can, just leave it on the surface and let nature do the rest. And just moving forward, a little bit of an ongoing maintenance. There's no reason why your patio shouldn't keep looking great as it does now for years to come.